superstar. He is an absolute superstar, Tom Mitchell. Cripps at the back. Cripps is too good. Neil, yes! Oh, how good was that?
We met at the Staples Center in LA. It's changed its name now, though. I think it's called Crypto Arena.
We were actually on our way to the game. Didn't realise that our tickets actually malfunctioned and we couldn't actually get our tickets, so we were actually late to get into the game. But while we're at the ticketing booth, like trying to sort out how to get
Lakers
these tickets.
Who were Lakers playing that night?
Jeez, I can't even
Because
remember.
LeBron was playing. I can't remember either. It was,
But
it must have
it
been
was just
early in the
it was a
NBA
pre-season
season.
game.
Oh, it was pre-season, wasn't it? Yeah.
And we're at the ticketing booth, about 4 or 5 of the boys, and I look to my left and I just see this bloke and I'm like, geez, he looks familiar. And next thing I'm like, geez, I think that's Tom Mitchell. So we like all go over and like just say g'day. And I'm just like, so you're getting traded to Collingwood, I'm getting traded to Collingwood. Like it was just
Well, at
the
that
most
stage, it was
random-
both rumours. But when we got to chatting, I was like, I've heard about your rumours to Collingwood. Are you going? And you're like, yeah, like my trade's about to go through in 10 minutes. Because it was about night time there, so I'm not sure what the time difference was.
Yeah.
But we were like, sitting by your phone waiting for the trade to go through. I was still confident, but mine wasn't as guaranteed as yours for the trade to go through. And I was actually travelling with a mate of mine who missed his international flight. Hence why I would have looked like the biggest loner, because I'm at the Staples Center watching the Lakers by myself and then run into you, and then you were with all the Lions boys. So I became a Lions player for the night and just hung out with you boys.
Well, actually, we bought our tickets. We didn't really know. I think we bought them on StubHub or whatever. And you kind of just get a view of like where the court is. So we didn't really know where our tickets were. When we finally found our tickets, I think you were on the other side of the arena.
Yeah.
And when we finally got to our area, we were like, hang on, these are up in like the corporate boxes.
Yeah.
We walk in and we've actually got a corporate box.
You bought a corporate box, like
without
fully
even knowing
food,
for
drinks
it.
all provided.
And we end up messaging each other, and I said, mate, come up here, we've got room for you.
Yeah.
So we end up having a beer and watching LeBron together. It was pretty cool.
Mate, it was unreal. And then your trade went through and we thought, well, if we're going to be future teammates, it's probably the perfect time to celebrate. So we went and had a few drinks, and then that was actually an awesome trip. Like I think we went to Nobu the next day for lunch. Nobu in Malibu, I think it is. Probably one of the best restaurants in the world. And there's me with about 10 of the Lions boys just making myself feel comfortable.
It was a good trip. It was good fun. Plenty of good food was eaten, and plenty of good alcohol was drunk.
Yeah, 100%. And you've just done Europe this off-season as well.
Yeah, so we started in Barcelona. It was actually good. We landed and we met up with Tay Adams. He'd been there for about 4 or 5 days. So we were able to go out for dinner, have a few drinks with him to start the trip, which was good fun. Then we went to Portugal.
You go to Lagos? Lagos in Portugal?
No, we didn't. That's a bit further south. We went to Lisbon and Porto.
What was Lisbon like? That's like the main city, isn't it?
It's like extremely hilly.
Is it? Yeah.
But we didn't have great weather there. Obviously,
Yeah.
when you play finals, it's heading into
You don't quite get that Euro summer.
And then as we were planning our trip, we were tossing up whether to spend an extra couple of days in Paris and London, because we've also been to London before, but we ended up going to Copenhagen, which we'd never been before, didn't really know anything about it. And it was awesome. It was something that I'd completely different to the other cities we went to. Incredibly clean. Like they're so advanced. They're like incredibly smart. It was a cool place to go.
So that's like a very, it's not your typical place to go for a tourist. Like you've got your touristy spots. Like I feel like everyone goes to Amalfi Coast and Greek Islands, but to do something like that is cool. Like that's a cool thing to do.
Yeah, we also knew heading into November, it's obviously getting a little bit colder as well. So we went somewhere that we knew that it was going to be cold. So that was fun. And then we finished in London, which was cool. It's kind of just Melbourne on steroids.
Literally, I was going to say, that's why I feel like everyone moves from Melbourne to London, because it's effectively feels most similar to that.
Yeah. You're back on the left-hand side of the road, all those little things.
Everything feels pretty similar.
Yeah, so that was, it was a good trip, good fun.
Nah, it's awesome. Well, I feel as though, after everything that you've been through, you need to travel and get away. Like I've experienced it as well with having a broken leg and missing a long portion of football. Like you need that mental break to get away and realise there's so much more to life, but just to get away from football and everything that you would have had to deal with at the end of last season, because, as one of your mates and all the boys just feel, how hard it must have been for you. Obviously such an awesome contributor for the whole year. And we're just going through, I was going through your stats. You weren't going through your stats, but I was going through your stats, and I'm going to read them out now because just in terms of consistency and the impact you had on the team to like officially help us, first of all, get the grand final. But, you know, when they say it takes a squad to win it, like it genuinely does. Like I don't think we win it or get there without you. So from round 18 onwards, and this is just consistent, you know, for that key forward position we need, you've kicked 2 goals, 2 goals, 2 goals, 2 goals, 2 goals, 2 goals, 1 goal, and then 2 goals in the qualifying final and 2 goals in the prelim. Like that's going to be really hard to replace for us this year. Going to be a huge loss. But mate, talk to us about, you know, the injury itself, the medial ligament, because you were playing some of your best footy, those finals, clunking it ahead of the ball, huge contests, and we don't get to the grand final without you. And then obviously seeing you around the club and how well you handled yourself was just so impressive, and your character just speaks for itself. But how difficult was the whole experience of missing out on the grand final?
Yeah, it was something that I don't wish upon anyone. Incredibly hard thing to go through. I just remember playing GWS, and I just felt like, you know, we had the crowd on our side, and I just never felt like we were going to lose that game. I just felt like it was just ours to win. And we were playing such good footy, and then right at the end of the third quarter, I remember going to like smother a handball, and then just getting tangled up in, you know, a contest, and just felt my knee get jagged. And I've tried to like run it off, and it just felt really loose. And, you know, all the worst things start running through your mind. And so I eventually get off the field, go down to the rooms with the physio on the dock, and I'm just like, it's bad. As you, like, when you're in the moment, you just think it is. And they kind of gave me confidence. They're like, look, it might not be that bad. We'll strap you back up. It doesn't feel too loose. Like, we'll just see how you go. And so they strapped me up incredibly tight. Like, I could barely feel my ankle.
Yeah.
And I just go back out on the field and just try and run around. And I kind of had this just hope that maybe it's not that bad. And then as soon as I tried to change direction, I just felt
You knew
instability straight away. So yeah, from that moment on, and it probably doesn't hit what you're missing out on. You know, the lead up to the grand final and just experiencing the whole week from afar. Like, it's a pretty surreal experience. Yeah, I remember having that conversation. I think I spoke to a journalist or something straight after I got my scans done, and I still remember being like, it's scary not knowing your fate of if you're available or not. You're dealing with the elation of all your best mates have just made a grand final, and how awesome is that? Then you're dealing with your old team that, you know, you've just left, and they're in a grand final as well, and it's probably the worst position to be in, because from a selfish point of view, you don't really want either team to win, but just for your own self-worth.
I can't even comprehend how that must have felt, and I can kind of relate a little bit in the fact that, you know, I was on a list in 2012 with the Swans when I was on the ground when the confetti goes, and different situation because I was injured and wouldn't have played, whereas you were well and truly entrenched and a key pillar of the team. But, you know, 2014, missing out on a grand final as well, you know, playing really good footy and getting dropped. And I get what you mean when you say you're so elated and happy for your mates to be doing this, but it's just how unfair and brutal footy is when you're the one that's not a part of it. It's almost like, why me? You know, like, and I guess you had Tay Adams as well, who was another one who was with you, and you guys have probably become super close throughout this period because you've experienced the exact same thing of just how unfair this whole situation is. Yeah,
I guess. So when you guys win a flag, I feel like anyone that is a part of that, the bond is unbreakable. And I feel like with Tay and I was so lucky, and it's so bad. Like we were joking about this throughout the whole week, and even afterwards, is like, I hate that you missed out on the granny, but I'm so glad that I had someone to like lean on during this period. So it was good. It was so good having him there. He was obviously in a bit of a different headspace as well with everything going on, but for me personally, he was a real rock to lean on during that time. And we had some really good conversations overseas about it as well, even after he left. And we're going to be mates for a long time after that, I think. And just on like the team, like they were so good to me as well. The way they all made me try and like feel a part of it, even though like you're not you're not a premiership player, but the boys have just been amazing. You, DC, all the boys, it's been so good to still feel that you're a part of the club, even though you don't have a medal.
Yeah,
and that's the thing. Like a lot of people say, that's why everyone involved should get a medal. It's like I don't think it's about the medal. I think it's about that feeling when that siren goes and you run to your best mate and you hug each other and then you have a beer afterwards and you're all like talking about the things that happen in the game. It's all that. That's what you miss out on. It's not a medal. Like a medal you can take it or leave it.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. It is about the memories, but I hope you know as well. And like, for example, we go and get dinner the other night. It's myself, you, Tay, Steele, Bruzzy, Geordie, DC, like all our good mates from the club, and we're together getting dinner. And it's hard for me to speak about because I'm not in your shoes, but I feel like those relationships and the things that are bigger than football will still last a lifetime more than anything as well. Yeah. But I still remember the message you sent to the playing group. It must have been just after you got your scan on the Monday. You sent a message to the group and you said, "Boys, I've just got my results. There's no chance I'm going to be playing. I've done my medial." I think it was going to be like a 6 to 8 week injury was what you said. And you just said, "Boys, I'm here. If I can help in any way, like, let's get this job done." And I just thought that sign of character was just amazing. The way you carried yourself throughout the whole week. Yeah. And obviously you get the response from the boys with how much we love you and, all the love heart emojis. And there was just so much love flowing through that WhatsApp group. But yeah, like, what was it like, firstly, to be able to show that brave face, but then again, behind closed doors, how challenging was that? I know because your family would have really been hurting, Callie would have been hurting, and you've spoken to me a little bit about almost having to console them in a way. Yeah,
I think my dad took it the worst. It really rocked him, especially because they come on the journey with you. I've never gotten past the prelim before. Played in 2, got beaten convincingly by Geelong both times. So it to finally be able to get past that stage, it's a massive achievement for them as well. And so they ride the bumps with you, and like I said, probably more so because they can't do anything to help you, and they just have to watch you basically from afar, and they know how disappointed you are to not be able to do that. So Cal was amazing, even with this recent injury. Like this recent injury has probably been worse because I've been a little bit immobile and whatever. So she's pretty much been just doing absolutely everything for me. I can't thank her enough. She's been incredible. It's been an interesting last 3 months, to say the least. Yeah.
Oh mate, you've been through some absolute challenges. We better touch on the ACL as well, because I remember the training session. I remember the day at Vic Park, and because you've been training the house down and you were fit and strong and dominating, and then it's an innocuous incident at training. Yeah. Like it's bizarre that I feel as though a lot of these injuries happen in the most uncommon and in drills where things are so basic with basic movements, and it's just like, how does that happen?
Yeah, I did it in fundamentals at training, which is kind of like
it's effectively warm up skills.
Yep. And it's a movement I've done 100 times before, and probably more. It honestly, I picked up a ground ball, went to change direction to try and lose a defender kind of on my ass, and I was going to just turn and hit a forward. I was facing away from our goals, and basically when I tried to lose him and tried to change direction, I just collapsed, and I just remember falling to the ground, and I think I said, it's a bit of a blur, but I'm pretty sure I just said, I'm like, I've just done my knee, I've just done my ACL. I'm like, I just played that movement in my head. I've seen it a million times. I've watched heaps of my teammates go through the exact same movement, and no contact, pivoting, knee collapses. I heard a pop. I was like, I know what that is.
And is the pain infuriating like straight away? Is that what it feels like with an ACL? Because I was in the group at the far end, and I remember looking over and seeing you walk off the track, and at that time I had no idea what had happened, but from what I hear and gather is that the initial pain is really bad and then it sort of goes away, and that's almost like a sign that you have done it.
Yeah. I've actually got good experience from an MCL and an ACL, obviously. So the MCL is actually feels a lot looser and a lot more unstable. And then when I did my my ACL, yeah, I kind of got that like initial pain, bit of like a hot feeling, like running through like the middle of your knee. And then I stood up and I'm like, oh, it doesn't feel that bad. But I knew I'd heard a pop. I knew the movement. I knew how unlucky I was in this last 3 months as well. So I just kind of assumed that it was going to be the ACL. And then I went down into the rooms, and Ruben, our doctor, tried to do the ACL test, the classic, jerk the knee. And in that moment, I think obviously your body just like tightens up. And so he's trying to do it, and he's like, relax. And I just couldn't, like my knee, my hammy, nothing could relax. It was just on. So he's just like trying to do it. He's like, oh, I'm not sure. He's like, we'll send you for a scan. I had a bit of a moment to myself and ended up going and getting the scan. But I reckon I had a missed call from him about 15 minutes after the scan. So I just finished the scan, and he'd already tried to call me like 15 minutes earlier, and he'd obviously already. They must get the sent like parts of the scan through as you're still in it, because it's about a 20-30 minute thing. And he called me straight away. He's like, "Oh yeah, mate, ACL." I'd already called Cal and said, "Look, I'm like, I don't want to be. I'm a pretty realistic sort of guy, and I don't like to fluff around or think that try and make things feel like they might be better. If I think it's going to be bad, like I'll just be like, look, I think I've just hurt my knee pretty bad. Do you want to come and meet me at the scan?" So yeah, she met me pretty much as soon as I got off the phone to Ruben. Like I went and saw her and just said, look, I think it's definitely the ACL. Actually, Ruben's like, do you want a couple of weeks to just relax, like settle down, just take it all in? And he's like, or we can go and see the surgeon today. And I'm just like, let's go see the surgeon. Let's just get surgery done and dusted. Let's just fucking get this thing.
So you've literally gone from training, scan, surgeon, all in the same
within 2.5 hours.
Wow.
Yeah. And then so Kel's obviously like, yeah, she's pretty upset. Like, she's just been through this absolute whirlwind of an experience the last few months, and then to deal with that as well it was really hard. And then my dad finished work, and he come over as well. He's like, I can't work anymore. I'm going to come over and see ya. He works in Richmond, and so they're kind of like tearing up, like hugging me, and I'm just like, it'll be all right. Like I'll get through this. Like I'll do everything I can. Like trying to give them confidence.
It goes to show like exactly what you said. They're just as much on the journey as you, and your family
absolutely.
hurt just as much as you do.
Yeah. So I'm trying to like do the math in my head. I'm like, it's November. December,
how many months?
If the boys actually tip in this year, we might be able to. It's all on you boys.
Yeah, rock up grand final day, hopefully.
Yeah. So I think at that stage as well, like it probably hadn't really sunk in. All you're kind of thinking about is, all I was thinking about is, all right, well, when can I get surgery? Like when can I start my rehab? When can I, you're just trying to get on top of it, because the sooner you get on top of it, the sooner, things might be able to happen for you.
Yeah.
It's probably hit a little bit more now. As the tedious weeks roll on, it's starting to really sink in. I've lost all of my quad.
Yeah.
I think that's when the moment you realise you're learning.
My left leg might have a bit more distance than yours at the moment. That's only about 30 metres.
Yeah, you've definitely got me covered.
Yeah.
So just learning. I didn't realise how painful like surgery was. So I got in on the Monday. So saw the surgeon on Friday, and then that Monday got in. So 4 days later, which is pretty rare, because when I caught up with Julian Feller, he's like, normally these things they swell up a fair bit, and if they're swollen, you can't operate. So he's like, if you can do everything you can over the weekend to keep it, small, and just wear your compression, ice, do everything right, hopefully all goes well, we'll be able to operate. So, luckily for my knee, when I got the scan, it was just ACL, so no other like ligaments or anything. So, he also said that's really good for post-career, rest of your life type things. Like he said, if you do, more than, one or two things, it can be, a little bit of a car crash and it's harder to come back. And I'm not saying you can't come back to full health and whatever. He just says that the less is better, which obviously makes sense.
Yeah.
So I'm just like grateful for that. Like,
even to have that discipline though of like, going through the medial ligament and having the discipline to do your rehab throughout an off season, and then doing an ACL and having the discipline and the mental energy to go, all right, locking in straight away to ice compress to get the surgery done straight away. Like that takes a toll as well. And it takes a real resilient attitude, which is what you have in spades.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, for me, I go into like a mindset under pressure of like, all right, what's important now? And it's probably something that I've had to work out a lot. I'm a pretty deep thinker a lot of the time, and things weigh pretty heavily on me if I let it. And that's why I've tried to really change my focus on focus on things that I can actually control. I can't control the injuries that I've had. All I can do is support the people around me that like care the most about me. Focus on my rehab and whatever's necessary to give myself the best chance of playing again.
Because when I remember when we caught up for brekkie that morning, and your knees come down a bit, but I definitely noticed how swollen it was after surgery. And I haven't really seen ACL injuries, but is that just the healing process? Is that normally what happens in terms of all the blood getting to your knee to actually heal the injury after the surgery?
Yeah, so I got the lateral extra articular tenodesis.
Is that like so they can grab the grafts from your hammy, your quad?
Yeah,
and so they can also grab it from your quad, didn't you?
Yeah, they could also grab it from your patellar tendon.
Right.
But I've got a massive Osgood slatus from when I was a kid.
I remember that. I had that when I was like 14 as well. Yeah, that's the worst thing ever.
So I said he's like, maybe we'll take the patellar tendon. Like we can take that as a graft.
Yeah.
And I was like, I had Osgood slatus. He's like, we're not fucking around with that then.
Yeah, yeah.
So
plus you do have the biggest quads in Australia before the injury you did.
So he kind of seemed to think that if you get the hamstring, there's not this isn't like, he just says that there's higher chances that you can do hamstring injuries and these sorts of things, but there's not as much research to show that you'll do quad tears if you get a quad graft. So we agreed to get a quad graft. Got it all done. So once surgery finished, I was in excruciating pain. I couldn't believe how sore it was. This lateral extra protection that I got from my ACL, they added onto the outside of your knee, and it was it just honestly felt like you had like a rope in there, and the rope was connected to your bones or something, and every time you stepped, it was just pulling everything inside. It just felt incredibly tight and sore and swollen and hot. And you got the game ready at home, and I was honestly living on that for about 6 to 8 hours a day.
Yeah,
it was all I was doing. I just had my leg up.
That's why you're so excited just to get out of the house and see some of the boys.
As soon as you boys,
I need this more for my sanity than anything.
I think you boys were like, "Oh, we'll come over." I was like, "No, we'll go out."
We'll go out. Yeah.
So now that and obviously after I have surgery, all your wounds are open and everything, so you can't really sweat.
Yeah.
You can't do much at all. So now that I'm past that point, it's a bit more fun.
Well, even being able to sweat, I found going through long-term injury in the past, it's more for your mental state of being able to exercise than your physical. I think your physical in time eventually comes when you get towards your performance training, but you just want to exercise to feel good mentally and get your endorphins going, things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. You just feel yourself, like I was literally watching my body just wither away.
It's the worst.
It's so...
I'll tell you what, even having shoulders as well, Braz has got it at the moment, but you're having one arm that just dies and losing your whole bicep tricep is not what you want.
Oh, his chest. I was looking at his chest the other day. It's literally indented.
Yeah, it's a little pancake.
So that's probably the hardest part, is just getting through that period of time, being immobile, like immobilised I was on crutches, and then they're trying to tell you like get off the crutches as soon as possible, but you're also like incredibly sore, so then you're having to deal with that.
It's a balance, isn't it?
Such a balance, and then you don't want to do too much too early because then the knee just swells up again. So it's been a bit of a journey so far, but I'm looking forward to, like, at the moment you're dealing with like all the very intricate muscles and just trying to find your VMO again and find your quads, and it's all very boring,
activating
tedious,
and
like time-consuming stuff.
Yeah.
And you finish a 2-hour gym session. Like I was at the club for 3 hours today. I did 2 hours in the gym and like an hour in just the pool. And in the pool, all I was doing was just like walking, doing like marching A's and like walking backwards. And so it's just all the stuff that you don't feel like you've just worked out, but at the same time, the science and the studies show that this stuff actually works in the long run. Where you can go and punch out a 30-minute leg session and do squats, RDLs and whatever, and you feel like your legs are about to fall off. Whereas it's just not like that with these sort of injuries. So
one thing you can do though, and this is what you said at dinner the other night, is you've already set your goals. You're a pretty diligent and committed guy. You're like, I'm going to be able to bench 150. You're gonna push numbers. Because we've had Bo in here, Bo McCreary, and he said last year he pushed 140, I think, for one.
Yeah.
But you've got him covered. Did you get 150?
No, I've never got 150. I spoke to them. They're like, what do you want to achieve? Like, let's set some goals and whatever. And they kind of do it to give you something to look forward to if you know that the season's out of reach.
Yeah.
So we're in that stage at the moment of trying to find something that I can do that's fun. That
motivate you as well.
Get your competitive juices flowing.
Yeah.
And one thing in the meantime, I can't really run. I'm just getting on a bike now, but it's very slow, and it's all about I'm limited with range of how well I can go on a bike. So one thing I can do at the moment is upper body. So
mate, you're going to be jacked for summer.
everyone always asks, what you bench. So I spoke to Dino, our rehab guy, and he's got this Eastern European bench press programs. I'm doing
like something off YouTube or something.
I'm doing about 4 bench press sessions a week, and it's going to be a bit of fun. So I've only just started it, but we'll see. We're just like, we may as well just, I've got nothing but time, so we may as well just fuck around with a few things.
Get massive, get strong. Because is it true as well, what you were saying, that, and obviously like rehab has to go perfectly and things have to fall in place, but there is research that shows if you do this quad graft, which you've done, you can potentially get back a little quicker. I think there was a story years ago with Tyson Goldsack when he was at the Pies. He came back from an ACL, might have been incredibly quick around the 6-month mark. I don't know. That could be wrong, but he may have had that graft done and came back and played finals that
I'm not
season,
I'm not sure what graft he had, but Julian Feller, the same surgeon did him. Julian's amazing. He kind of and so's our gym staff. They talk about, we want to treat the player, not the injury.
Yeah.
So a lot of research papers say that ACLs take 12 months and whatever. Whereas if you're ticking every single box at 9 months, 8 months, like why do you need a limit? Why do you need to wait another 4 months for something?
So it's a very individual.
Yeah. So
approach.
apparently Tyson Goldsack was like a rare case, but absolutely dominating his rehab, and he probably had a little bit less to lose as well. I think he was coming towards the end of his career, wanted to try and win a flag. So he probably had more reason to push boundaries than maybe I do. But I'm going to give it one hell of a crack, and we'll see if we can get there.
Because you signed a 5-year deal with the Pies, didn't you?
Yeah.
What about that trade period? Because obviously we came across at the same time, but was it mostly you wanting to come back to Melbourne? Was that the main driving force, and obviously coming to a big club and things like that? But clearly, you've played, we were looking before, you played 175 games. Prior to this, you've had a bloody good run and a proven quality AFL player. What were the main reasons for wanting to come to the Pies?
I think the draw card to always come home has always been there. I probably felt that after 9 years in Brisbane, I felt like I probably stagnated a little bit. I just felt like maybe a change was going to be good for me. And during that year, obviously being a free agent, I had Port Adelaide come pretty hard after me initially, and then no one really from Melbourne, and like my manager hadn't really spoken to many people from Melbourne or anything. But as soon as Collingwood kind of come to the party, I started to really have a genuine think about coming home, because it was either going to be going back to Melbourne or it was going to be staying in Brisbane. Like I was really happy up there.
Yeah.
I just felt personally, could I get more out of myself somewhere else? I'm a pretty diligent trainer. Like I work hard. I just felt like my performances had plateaued. Maybe I needed a change. Maybe I needed a different coaching style, a different gym program, like just something different. Like I don't know. I just felt like
I think that's normal. I think a lot of
yeah.
players experience that, and a fresh start is sometimes the best thing.
And then when I had that conversation with my manager about that Collingwood are interested, it's pretty hard to turn down, 16, 17 games at the MCG every week. I think if I'd have played every game this year for Collingwood, I think I would have played more games at the G than I've ever played in my whole career. Played 160 games prior to that. So it would have been like it's hard to argue with like coming to a big club like Collingwood.
Yeah.
The fans. I played against Collingwood. I played against Richmond. I played against these huge clubs at the MCG, and I know how daunting it is, and I know how hard it is to win there. It's a massive, massive factor. So being able to be a part of that and know that you've got 106,000 fans on your side.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think we've both experienced, within the four walls of the footy club, I feel as though I know with myself at Sydney, like I remember that environment was very, very intense, and the environment we've both walked into at Collingwood is very different to other ones in terms of how joyful and fun, and it's almost like, guys, are we taking this game serious enough? And Fly will always be like, to us when we walked in, he's like, boys, hey, more smiles. He's like, you're not going out on that footy field today unless you're smiling and happy.
How many times did you say that?
He points at you, and he sometimes points at me. He's like, oh, boys, we're here to have fun. We're playing footy. And like, I think we've both, with our footy careers and profession, always felt that we have to be that way to get the best out of ourselves. But I think we both experienced this year that this new approach, first of all, is proven way to play well, but second of all, is like takes the edge off, and you actually realise again why you're doing this in the first place.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Fly has an amazing way of making you feel not only so connected to each other, but also just take a load off. Like the game is hard. The game is hard enough as it is. You got that much exterior media and social media pressures, and people like sending you DMs about your performances, whatever. It's hard enough.
Yeah.
Like
you got pulled up about 5 minutes. You're like, Dan, smile, or we're not running out.
Yeah, literally. So you just know you come into a meeting pre-game. It's either going to be you're going to laugh because it's actually funny, or you're going to laugh because he's made a shit gag and it sucks.
Either way, it's a win.
Yeah, it's going to be funny. So I think the first one that I experienced was at Icon Park. That was great. When
the practice game? Yeah, hilarious.
Scott Sells was coaching for the day, and he rocked up in a suit and had like the sunnies on and was acting like a world beater. Once I experienced that.
I'm trying to think what the best ones this year would be. There's like, if anything pops up in media or social media of the boys, like there was some funny ones of Isaac Quainer, like where he's promoting like a cricket thing and he's like walking down the hallway. Yeah. I'm actually pretty concerned about a shoot I had to do last week with AIA Vitality, where I was with Shane Crawford and we were talking about getting active and, making healthy choices and doing something, especially over this Christmas period, to stay active is really important. So we tried some completely different sports and activities. So we did ultimate frisbee, have you played pickleball yet?
I haven't played it. I know
it's pretty good fun. And then the last one was salsa dancing. And I'm thinking the whole time I'm getting filmed doing this, man, Croft gets so into it because that's just his personality. And I'm there with these ballet dancers, cameras everywhere, doing salsa dancing. I'm like, all I could think about is Fly's pre-game meeting. I'm like, oh, this is coming up round one.
He doesn't miss.
He finds it.
He's scaring through TikTok
all
day, every day.
He's probably got a burner account, and I know he's got probably moles out there who's searching for his weekly content.
Absolutely.
And I reckon I'm a bit worried.
I'll make sure that I'll send a message after this.
I should have told you, but anyway, I know it's going to come at some point, so I'd rather just put my hand up now and own it.
Yeah.
But it is funny. The whole yeah, we have a lot of fun with it, the social media things, and I think there's a funny one of Pendles with his. I was speaking to Scoot. I'm not sure if Pendles listens to the Ball Magnets pod, but Scoot found an ad that Pendles did for Toys R Us with his acting skills, and I think that's going to be getting used. So that'll be quite funny. But
that's the thing though, is like when you become a good team, there's that much content out there. The boys are getting deals left, right, and centre.
Checkers,
so.
Actually, the other one was Checkers.
Checkers.
That was classic. That was my check. He's calling his own name. We got to find that.
Yeah, that's great.
One other thing I was keen to ask you about was, because you don't have any tattoos. I'm just looking at you now.
No.
You've got the compression on your knee.
Yeah.
But your dad's a tattoo artist, so you would normally think that you would be covered, because a lot of the boys at the club are covered, but you don't have a single tat.
No,
Your dad's got a fair few. He's been at the club a few times.
Yeah. He's pretty much from like, halfway up his arms all the way down.
Does it just not interest you, or you don't? What?
Oh,
It's just an assumption you would make, you know.
The industry interests me. Like, obviously, I've got a keen eye on his work and his style and those sorts of things. But I guess growing up, because I was surrounded by tattooing all the time. We like, Dad would have people from America, from Europe, from Canada come and stay at the house, and it was always a part of our life. We'd always be introduced to all these people. So when I got to 18, it was kind of something that I'd always known and always been around. So it didn't feel like I needed to go and get one for myself. It was just like, I wanted to be my own person. He's always been dead against me and my sister not getting tattoos.
Okay.
But as he gets older, and he's like, verging on retirement in, the next few years kind of thing, I do kind of sometimes think like, will I regret not getting a tattoo off him? But instead of getting tattoos, a couple of years ago, I asked him, I just want a couple of paintings. So he does the Japanese art. So that's his like style, and his three main, I guess, like creatures that he draws is like tigers, dragons, and snakes. So I've got a painting of a tiger, and I just want a painting of a snake and a dragon.
That's sick.
Yeah, it's just something cool. That
tattoo artists are so talented, aren't they? Like,
it's incredible.
Their skills are epic.
Yeah. So he was, what was he? He was 21, I think. He was a qualified electrician.
Yeah.
And he'd always want to be a tattoo artist. And he ended up quitting his job, went with a mate, and travelled over to Canada to learn how to do it. And that's kind of like where it all started. And 40 odd years later, he's still regarded as one of like the pioneers of Japanese tattooing, and really like world renowned. So
give him a shout. Where's the shop? I know it's in Richmond.
Yeah,
give it a shout out.
71 Swan Street, Richmond. Dynamic Tattoo.
Yeah.
Trev, ask for Dan, and he might give you a discount. We'll see.
The Mcstay special.
Yeah, Benny Croc was in there all the time.
Is
so
he? Mate, Croc is covered. You see Croc put up a story on his Instagram, and he's at the tattoo shop. I'm like, mate, do you actually have any more room? Like,
no. He's about to get his back started, I think, which is funny. So he's always in there. So
yeah,
it's funny.
That's good. And what about anything else outside of footy that you're going to hone in on? I know that you're very into your podcasting yourself. Like, you've listened to over 600 hours of podcasts this year. Like, when people post their Spotify most listen this year, you listen to about 3 songs and about 600 podcasts.
Yeah.
You're very savvy with, your finance and your business, and whether you want to go down that path while you're doing your rehab. But what else are you going to do to sort of keep yourself busy, keep your mind active throughout this rehab period?
Yeah, so we're heading into the fun part of the NFL season, so that'll keep me preoccupied till February.
You're a fantasy man?
Yep. So I'm actually versing DC this week.
Oh, that's a big game.
Yeah, I think
maybe I'll get on his computer and tamper with his team, get you a dub.
No, I think I'm already off to a bad start. I think he's got Chris Olave and he's absolutely dominating. So last I checked, the game's on at the moment. So I don't know. Going to get back into some uni, studying business and finance as well. So get that up and going. I'm gonna be a bit of a test dummy on myself. I'm thinking about doing like a VO2 max on a bike, and do it like in the next couple of months, and then get do like a programming of like, bike sessions and then see.
Is that where you wear the mask?
Yeah, I'm just going to try and like see if the club can organise with the uni or something, and then hopefully just see how good I can get.
You might be doing the Tour de France / bench press world record. You might not come back to footy.
Yeah, well, I might need some bloody help with that if I'm going to be on the Tour de France.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. Just I want to do something that might not exactly be footy related, or that some of it will be transferable. Obviously, like strength and like being on a bike, your fitness. But I wanted to do something that I can do reasonably early on that I can start actually training for.
Yeah.
That's going to be a little bit of fun, a little bit of a different sort of training program, but still something that I'm not going to walk into the club every day and like drag my feet and be like, fuck, another session.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I think it's a good and smart way to approach it, because doing things differently to stimulate your mind, like you and I both know, coming from different clubs, even the way that clubs train. I'm chatting to you, Brisbane have huge running programs, and that's the way they train for their pre-season. Whereas I remember the early days at Hawthorn, it was all skills, and Collingwood's a bit of a blend of like shuttle running and all these different things, and having different ways to train to still stay fit but keep your mind activated is a really good thing. Do you still like chat to, like, especially heading into that grand final week? Like, I know you're still pretty close with a lot of the Brizzy boys, but how was that? Because it would have been different if you're playing. I assume you would have just cut all communications, but you would have had a lot of them reaching out to you as well.
Yeah. No, it was good.
The emotion of the support from both teams, but having both of them playing off, like, I just can't even. Yeah. It's just such a unique situation.
Yeah. No, the boys were really good. I probably got 15 messages from a lot of the key guys, and a lot of them really felt for me, and I felt for them. Like, it must be tough going so close and not coming out with the win. So
especially with all the history you had there, like you mentioned before, but you'd played in 2 prelims. We saw before you played in a semi, a few qualifying finals. Like, you guys had a lot of history together.
Yeah. No, so I don't think there's no love lost between me and the Brizzy boys, that's for sure. I wish them all the best, and they're going to be an incredibly tough team to beat again this year. They train as hard as anyone, and got a lot of time for all of them. So
mate, they always seem like they're up there, don't they? Like, even the last few years, like grand finals, prelims, they're always in the hunt. We respect them so much as an oppo, and I guess you've been very fortunate to be a part of that club, but also Collingwood, mate. So, and with your interest in business and finance and things like that, like, we both know the importance of trying to set yourself up after football, and we've both been pretty fortunate to have some longer term contracts which not every player in the league gets. But I think for anyone in any career space, whatever they're doing, the importance of planning your finances and wealth management now to set yourself up for after football is so important. And we've obviously met Nick Davos from Davos and Miles, who we've had some good times with him, some good lunches, but the work that he does with his team to, I guess, facilitate and help players and people plan for their futures.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an absolute critical thing, especially in our industry. It's such a short lifespan when you potentially work for 40 years, and the average AFL career is only really 4 years. So from an early age, my mum and dad have instilled how important financial like sacrifices are, and making sure that you are doing like saving and building wealth while especially while we're in the industry. It's absolutely crucial. So I've got a great team around me, and it's so good to hear that you've got a great team around you as well that looks after you.
I think as well, like, there's so many things, and we're still kind of young. Like, you're a little bit younger than me, but even before 30, it's not something that you put a focus on because you're so entrenched in your career and doing other things. But just learning little things around, tax, investing, portfolios, property. There's so many things, and I know that you're elite with this stuff. Like, you're very good. But yeah, just having someone to guide you and steer in the right direction. I know with Nick and his team, they offer like free finance checks for people. We know a couple of the boys at the club have gone and seen him and done that. So But yeah, it just reiterates how important it is because, like you said, a footy career is, I don't know what the average career is. It
It's
might
about
only
4 years.
Is it 4? I thought it was less than that.
Oh, it might be, but I think it was around that.
No, we're gonna have to.
You got guys like Pendles that are in there for like 20
true,
years.
he's been playing forever. We're gonna have to find proper job. Oh, I don't know about the proper job, but we're gonna have to find another good 20, 30-year career after football's done because
I will. You won't.
No.
You're just doing podcasts.
Mate, footy, well, I don't know if this is going to go, but footy's just such a small portion of your life.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, and guys get in the trap of, buying the new car or gambling or these sorts of things, and it's an easy trap to get into with the amount of gambling ads, and also just getting caught up in, guys that are a bit older than you that are buying those things and might be a little bit more set up than you are. So, mum and dad always told me to make sure I bought a house before I bought the new car.
Yeah.
So that was one thing I always tried to strive for.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's definitely helped me, along my journey so far. And I've learned a lot from not only them, but also different financial people. So.
Yeah. Well, shout out to Nick and Davos and Miles at their team. We appreciate them.
Yeah. Awesome.
Mate, thanks for jumping on and thanks for being so raw and honest with everything.
Nah, it's all good,
I
bro.
know we have such a good time together off the field and do a lot of that, but for you to open up like that, it just shows how much character and resilience you have. And we all know as your mates and teammates how diligent you'll be with your recovery to get back. Break the VO2 max test. You'll probably break that machine because you're an absolute animal. Probably end up benching 180 as well. But mate, really appreciate the honesty and the chat. That was honestly one of my favourite pods I've ever done. So really appreciate it, mate.
No, all good.
Cheers, mate.